Well, good evening and greetings, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Live broadcast. Yes, Let's Talk Live is on the air. I'm going to give you an opportunity to like, tag, and share. Let somebody know that we are on. Tonight, this is your guest host, Prophet Remington Rolle, filling in for Apostle Connie Brooks. This is normally our prophetic segment of the Let's Talk Live broadcast. Listen, again, let someone know we are on the air. Like, tag, and share. You're going to have the next few seconds to do this because we're going to be talking about something that is very pivotal to everybody in this present time. We will be talking about the value of vision. Yes, the value of vision. So, again, reach out to someone, let them know Prophet Roll is on Let's Talk Live tonight, and we are going to be talking about the value of vision. This is something that is very important, most pivotal to each and every individual's life. We need to know what is our vision? How do you develop it? Where and how are we going to move forward with what it is the Lord has already placed in our spirits? Understanding that your vision has great value. So, again, reach out, let somebody know that we are on the air. The value of vision. I'm very excited to be sharing this with you tonight. Wherever you're watching from, let us know. Do let us know if you're a first time viewer, if you are a consistent viewer. Give us a shout out. Let us know that you are joining us tonight. All right. And definitely at the end of this broadcast, I will take a moment of time and opportunity to speak into the lives of the viewers. So I'm really, really geeked about this, the value of vision. The first thing that we want to look at so that we know where we're going is understanding exactly what is vision. What is vision? We often hear this word. We often, it's talked about, people make mention of it, but what really is vision? Let's go into the definition of this. Vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Let's say that one more time. Vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Vision differs from sight. Yes, vision is very, very different from sight. Sight is what you see with your eyes open, but vision is what you can see without sight. Vision is what you see when your eyes are closed, when you are not looking through your natural eyes into the realm of the natural and the physical. Vision is what do you see on the inside? What is your spirit taking hold of and is picturing, planning, developing concerning the future? The realm of your imagination. What is it that you can see for the future? This is very, very important for each and every one of us. We are now in the 15th day of November. There are just a few more weeks left in this year. 2023 will be upon us in a jiff, in the snap of a finger. We will be in a brand new year should the Lord delay his coming. And we do not want to be scurrying at the last minute to try to figure out what is it we're going to do? What is God saying? Where are we going? What direction will our lives take? We need to get this stuff figured out now. You need to begin to pray and seek the Lord about God. What is the vision for my life? So again, I want to remind us this definition. I want you to keep this in your mind as we go throughout the segment tonight, that vision is an ability. It is an ability to think about or to plan with both imagination and wisdom. You must have some imagination and a level of wisdom to give birth to vision. This is what is very important. There's a portion of scripture that we're going to be leaping off tonight. It's found in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18a. This is what it says: where there is no vision, the people perish. Yes. Where there is no vision, the people perish. What this verse simply means is, where there is the absence of vision will result in death. I know that sounds very hard, very stark, but it is blatant truth. The absence of vision results in death. This is the word of the Lord. It is not a peaceful death, but when it speaks of perishing, the word perish implies that the death that will be experienced is one that is void of peace, it is violent, it is sudden, and untimely. So we're learning from the word of God that the absence of vision gives way and results in violent, sudden, and untimely death. The absence of vision results in violent, sudden, and untimely death. It also lets us know that to lose vision is to lose the normal qualities and results in rot and decay. The lack of vision means the lack of ability to wisely plan results, and it then rapidly decays right before your eyes. So, the first thing that we're learning tonight is the very initial value of vision is that vision leads to the continuation of life. Therefore, we surmise from this that vision is necessary for life to be continued. If you want to continue living, you have to pray and believe for vision. If there is no vision, there is no necessity to continue. If there is no vision, there is no necessity for life. Isn't that amazing? A very great Bahamian preacher and teacher, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, once said, "Do not die old, but die empty." So he also is speaking along the same line as what is stated here in Proverbs, is that death will be realized when there is nothing left in you. When vision is completely gone, then it's time to make your departure. So we must understand that we need vision. We need vision to prevent premature expiration. A mind without vision is a barren wasteland that is void of purpose. Wow. I know somebody watching and listening is saying, "Prophet, this is some really strong stuff. You're trying to say to me that my life lacks value if there is no vision?" The word is telling us, where there is no vision, the people will perish. Where there is no vision, men, women, boys, and girls, the people, the nation, the generations, they will die. They will expire, and their expiration will be violent, sudden, and untimely. So here are a few points that I want to bring up about vision. Our next leaping pad is coming from Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Very, very familiar portion of scripture. Here is what Habakkuk the prophet says: "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So let's look at this. The first point, there are 7 points about vision that I want to give us tonight. Point number 1: vision requires a vessel. Vision requires a vessel. God needs a willing and yielded vessel in whom he can implant his vision. Vision is not birthed in a open void empty space. Vision is birthed inside of a vessel. Vision needs a visionary. There must be someone yielded. There must be a submitted and committed vessel that is open to receiving the outpour of vision. You have to open yourself to be able to receive it. Quickly, we go to the second point. The second point is vision comes from God. Yes, vision comes from God. Vision comes from us hearing, taking heed to the voice of God. In order for us to receive what God is saying, one must firstly position him or herself to hear his voice and receive his plan. This requires great discipline. We're seeing all of this. I'm pulling from the 3 verses that we read in Habakkuk. Habakkuk said, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me. Habakkuk says now that I have positioned myself. I've taken on the posture to receive from whom? From the Lord. This is not receiving from another person. This is not receiving from your mother, your father, your pastor, your co-worker, your boss. These are persons that can help to give you ideas, but true vision comes from the Lord. He says, I will stand upon my watch. I'm taking a position. I am taking a posture. I am taking a stand to be in the place where I need to be so that I can receive from him. And how am I receiving this? I am not receiving the vision by way of sight, but I'm receiving the vision by way of sound. He says, I will listen to hear what he will say unto me. There are those who will be watching this live tonight or watching this as it's re-aired. You have to open the ears of your spirit to hear what the Spirit of God is saying. You're believing the Lord and you're asking of God, God, what is my plan? What is the plan for 2023? You're looking for God. What is the word concerning my life for 2023? Right now, there are many pastors and leaders who are seeking God about what is the theme. What is it that you're saying to us for the year? That is very important, not just for the sake of being thematic, but it gives you an understanding. It gives you a line to follow. You have an expectation based on the word. Yes, the sound that you hear from the mouth of God, it causes you to have an expectation of what it is you are looking for, what it is you are planning towards, what will be developed. What should you expect? What is going to spring forth in your year? So vision comes from where? Vision comes from the Lord. He said, I will stand upon my watch. Set me upon the tower. And one of the things we must take note of concerning this is many times when you are posturing yourself, positioning yourself to receive vision from God by way of his voice, you must ascend to an elevated place. Yes, brothers and sisters, those that are listening, all of our viewers, you have to make a decision to ascend to an elevated place. You have to find a tower in which you can ascend, you can summit, so that you can zone in to the presence of God to hear what it is God is going to say to you. There are some of us, we have not received the instructions that we desire or we need because we are stuck in a low place. There are many that are dealing with depression, sadness, weariness, disappointment, and so many other ills that you have experienced, the residue from coming through the 2.5 years of the pandemic, and even the experiences that you have had within this year. But right now is a time you need to make the decision that I am going to elevate myself. myself. I am going to a higher place. I am going to find me a tower so that I can get a better signal to hear the voice of God. Now, do not take me wrong in this moment. In no way am I implying that the voice of God cannot penetrate a dark area of your life. Yes, the voice of God can penetrate a cave. It can come through any dark area where you are. It can walk through walls. However, it is really good. It really shows that you are invested in the next move of God. When you say, God, I am going to ascend into this tower. How do I do this? By prayer, by fasting, by just releasing and letting go, pulling yourself away from some of the things they're accustomed to being involved in on a daily basis, and making the decision that by way of my prayer, by way of my fasting, by way of consecration, I am going into a tower. I'm going to be set upon this place so that I can watch. And here is the interesting part about this. When it comes to vision, to receive it, we're not watching with our eyes, but we're watching with our ears. Wow. Yes, we are watching with our ears, because what is it we're doing? We're listening to hear the voice of God. We're listening to see what he will say unto us. So again, to receive the vision, the plan of God, it requires great discipline. Yes, it does. It requires great discipline. The waves of life will cause us to be tossed to and fro all around. And you have to make the executive decision to stand firm, foursquare upon the word of God and your faith in what you believe, and said, I am not moving. I will not be moved out of this position until I receive vision from the Lord. He said, I'm going to watch to see what he will say. Do you hear that? I am watching to see what he will say. I am watching with my ears. In this moment, I prophetically speak into the lives of those that are listening right now, that as you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, your ears are seeing the vision that God has for your life. You will develop the tools of discipline so that you will remain in the position and the posture that is necessary for you to receive vision from your God, our Father. The third point I want to make about vision, this is a critical point right here. Vision must be written. Yes, vision must be written. You have to write it. You have to write it. You have to write it. Yes, you have to write it. Now, let me tie points 2 and 3 together, because when Habakkuk said that he was watching with his ears to see what God will say unto him, he said, I will see what he will say unto me. He said, and that I shall answer when I am reproved. The in-between point, the crossover, the bridge between points 2 and 3 is that when you receive vision from God, when the voice of God speaks to you, it requires a response. Wow. Yes. By every viewer that's listening right now, the voice of God requires response. God expects you to respond to the vision. He expects you to respond to his voice when he begins to show you and to tell you what it is he wants you to do. Again, vision is not about the past. It's not even about your present. Vision is about the future. He is giving you the ability to plan. He is giving you the ability to strategize using your imagination and your wisdom and the divine powers of his. And so now we bridge points 2 and 3 with the understanding that having vision requires a response. The very first immediate response to vision is point number 3, which is vision must be written. Listen, this is going to sound a bit crazy, but everyone that's watching, every viewer right now, look around to the nearest desk or whatever, wherever you are, grab an instrument, grab a pen, a pencil. You know what? Grab your phone. Open up the notes section of your phone because you need to write. You are going to need to write. Your vision, the birthing of vision requires our response. And so you're going to need to write what it is you saw with your ears. Certainly you will. Vision must be written. Great. I heard this, and this is something that is very powerful. If it is not in writing, it does not exist. If it is not in writing, it does not exist. This is not just about what is in your head. Yes, Marley, true, you must have it written down. If it is not in writing, it does not exist. I want to share two stories with you right in this moment. Some years ago, I wanted to do some renovations to my home, and I was praying to the Lord about it, and I needed quite a bit of money to get it done. I didn't have it at the moment, and I kept on praying. I kept on praying, and I kept on praying about it. Finally, one night I had this vision where I saw the work being done and it being completed, and it was just beautiful. And in that moment, the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me, and he said to me, he said, Remington, get up and write it. And guess what I did? Not only did I write it, I got up, I got a ruler, I got a pencil, and I began to draw. I'm not even that good at drawing, but I began to draw the layout of my room and how I wanted the changes to be made. I began to write down all of the materials that I needed. I called up contractors and got quotes, and I made a little book, and I just wrote every single thing down. And guess what? As soon as I had completed writing it down, God began to open the doors and provide the resources that I needed in order to make it happen. And as I looked, as the weeks and the months passed, I was able to mark things off of the list that had been done because I had written it down. If it is not in writing, your vision does not exist because it must be translated from your imagination to the real world. Writing vision transports it to the natural world, and it then makes your vision contractual. Wow. Yes, it makes your vision contractual. When you write it, you bring it from your psychological and the spiritual realm into the natural realm. You begin to make it real from the very moment you start writing. Somebody in this very moment should start writing something. You should start writing the name that's been spinning around in your head of that business that you want to open. You need to start writing the name of that position you're seeking to apply for. You need to start drawing the plans for the building. You need to start doing something. Begin to write. Another story that I want to share that's not even directly mine. Coming this very weekend on Saturday, we're going to be having a great women's empowerment. And the person who is the host of it, one of the ladies of our church, Sister Laura Mock, she had called our apostle, and Apostle and I were sitting in the office. And while she was telling it, while Sister Laura was telling Apostle about the vision she had for this women's empowerment, I saw Apostle did something that she always does. If you know anything about Dr. Brooks, she loves to write. She's got a notepad, she's got a pen all around her, just everywhere. And anything that's happening, anything the Lord is saying, anything she's believing for, anything she is hoping for, she writes it down. And so I was sitting there and I was watching her. And as I watched her, she is on the phone talking to Sister Laura. And at the same time, as Sister Laura is telling her about the vision she had for the women's empowerment, Apostle is there writing it down on the notepad. She's writing the names. She is writing what wants to be done. She is writing the date. And as she is sitting there writing, someone overheard, another person in the building overheard the conversation. And when Pastor came off of the phone, the person knocked on the door and said, listen, I'm sorry, I was eavesdropping a bit, but I heard about the thing that you were talking about on the phone, and it sounds like it's a really good idea. And so Pastor said, yeah, this is it. I was just writing down the vision that she was giving me to do this thing for the women. And the person said in that moment, well, I tell you what, how much does it cost? I am going to underwrite this endeavor. I am going to underwrite it. Within an hour, they left, came back with the check. They underwrote it completely, paid in full, weeks in advance. Brothers and sisters, the power was as soon as she wrote it, God manifested it. God manifested it. Can I say something to you? You are pen strokes away from realizing your greatest vision. I want you to hear me. You are pen strokes away. You are keyboard clicks away from realizing the thing that you've been praying and believing and hoping for. But you have to bring it from the spiritual realm and the psychological realm of your mind into the real world. You must transport it. And the vehicle, the transportation for it is by way of writing. You've got to write it down. You've got to write it. Somebody right now, while I am talking, at whatever point in time you're watching this broadcast, pull out that instrument and begin to write. Make it real. Make the vision real. Bring it into the realm of the physical by way of writing. You may not have a dollar, a dime, or a nickel, not even a penny to get it started. But guess what? I am certain you can find something to write with. You can find a pen. You can borrow. You can write it on an iPad, on a tablet, on your phone. You can find some instrument, some vehicle to transport the vision from your mind to reality. Write the vision. Write the vision. Make it real. You must wait. You must make it real. Understand, this is another important point. All of this is a part of point number 4. Do not wait until January of 2023 to start writing the vision. No, do not wait until then to write the vision. It's going to be too late. That's why the Lord spoke to me about having this segment, this broadcast now dealing with this topic. I am not even a football buff, but one of the things I understand about football and other sports and games is that when you are a football team, they do not wait until they are already on the field to draw up a game plan. You must have your playbook ready before you get out there on the playing field. Yes, there will be tweaks, there will be some changes, there will be some augmentations. Nevertheless, you must have some structure. You must have some direction before you get on the playing field. You need to get started with writing right now. You've got weeks. Do not be lost in the hustle and bustle of the holidays that are forthcoming. Write the vision. A next important point, another part of this same thing in point number 4 about writing the vision is this: precision and articulation are necessary. This is part B of number 4. Precision and articulation are necessary. The reason why they're so necessary is because precision and articulation provides clear communication. Clear communication. Habakkuk said, write the vision and do what? Make it plain. The reason some of us need to begin writing right now is because we need time to look at it and go back and adjust it. We need time to look at it and say, okay, wait, maybe these numbers aren't right. These specs aren't right. These measurements aren't right. I've got to go back, tweak it. I've got to lay it out. I've got to line it up properly. There are some things that I missed out. There were some things that I overlooked. There are some things that I did not do that I should have done. Like our apostle is saying even now, it is time for the vision in these next 40 days. Write your vision. And as you write, will continue to hear the voice of God. Sherry, as you put something down on paper, the Holy Spirit is going to come back and tell you more. Some of you, you have not heard the next point from God. You have not gotten the next move of God. God has not said another word to you yet because you have not written down the first thing he told you. And he is waiting for you to get that, to transport it from the spiritual to the physical realm by writing it. And once you write it, he will then come back and speak and say the next thing. He will then give you the next part of it. He will show you the next move to make. But you have to write it. It's very important. And don't just write it just to say, oh, I'm just getting it done because somebody said to get it done. No, make it plain. You must write with precision and articulation. This will provide clear communication of your vision. Listen, Spirit of the Lord just said this. You do not want your vision to get lost in translation. There are many. The visions are being lost in translation because it was not articulated in its writing. It was not precise. You want to be precise. You want to be clear. This is what leads to the next very pivotal point that we're going to be dealing with tonight. And this is point number 5. This one excites me a great deal. I really, really love this point. The next point, number 5, that we're going to dealing with is runners are waiting on your writings. Runners are waiting on your writings. That's point number 5. Habakkuk said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Now let's really deal with this right here. He is not saying, Habakkuk is not giving any reference to the fact of you running with your own vision. Did you get that? He is not implying in any way that you are going to run with your own vision. He is speaking of another party. He says, so that he who reads it will run with it. There are runners that are waiting on your writings. The Lord said this to me in preparation. He said, vision, I want you to get this. And those of you who are taking notes, I really want you to grab this. He said, vision is the child of one, but the responsibility of many. Vision is the child of one, but it's the responsibility of many. God will give one individual the vision, but he will make an entire community, an entire nation, an entire group of people responsible for carrying the vision out. Starting a church or a ministry begins as the vision of one, the pastor, but then it becomes the responsibility of those who will become the runners, the elders, the ministers, the deacons, the custodial staff, and even the lay members that have no title. Vision is the child of one, but the responsibility of many. God is saying, when you write the vision and you write it with precision and articulation, I have already assigned, I have anointed and ordained people to run with the vision. I have already pre-commanded responsibility on others for the vision I've given you. Yes, but here is the thing. They will not know that this is what they are to run with. They will not know that this is the thing that God has assigned them to unless when they read it, they must be able to see it, because guess what? People cannot read your mind. Can I help you right there? People cannot read your mind. And there are many of us, we have all of these grand ideas. We have all of these grand plans. We have all of this stuff in our heads. And we're getting frustrated when we see somebody else succeeding. We get frustrated when we see somebody else walking out and living out the dreams and the aspirations they had and the things that God has for them. And we get jealous. Ooh, I wish I could deal with that right there. We become jealous and envious and turn green in the face when we see others climbing high on the ladder of success. But here is the difference. They wrote their visions, and the assigned runners read it and could understand it. Some of us, we have yet to write the vision, so people don't know. They do not know what is in your head. They're not mind readers. Hello here. They need to be able to physically read what it is that God has given you, and not just read it, but to be able to read it with clear understanding. That's why the precision and the articulation is very important. He said, make it plain so that the runners, when they read it, they will have an understanding. There are people whom God has placed in the earth. He's put them in the world and He's already commanded them. And God has already said to them, listen, I am going to send a person. There is a Mary Jane that's coming, and I'm giving them the idea. I'm giving them a vision to open up a tea company. But there are hundreds and thousands of tea companies all around the world. But the difference is the one that I want you to fund, the one that I want you to underwrite, the one that I want you to market has this particular slogan. The one that I want you to support has this color. It has this logo. These are the specifications concerning the one that I want you to run with. And there are many of us, the person whom God has ordained, they are right there at the starting line, ready to take off running with great speed like a Mustang, but they have not moved because even though they have read the vision, they cannot understand what it is you are communicating because the communication lacks clarity. It lacks clarity. There are some people you wonder, and I'm going to get in trouble right here. You wonder, what is it that God has actually called you to do? Are you a prophet? Are you an apostle? Are you a pastor? Are you an evangelist? Are you a motivational speaker? Are you a rapper? Are you a rock star? What are you? I do not clearly understand what you are. I have no clear idea what you do. What is it you're seeking to achieve? The vision must have clarity. He said this, runners possess the skills, influence, and resources to facilitate the vision. Again, this is why writing the vision with clarity highly important. God does not give vision for you to do by yourself. You may receive the vision alone, but the vision does not come to fruition by yourself. Vision, the manifestation of vision requires community. It requires company. It requires network. It requires togetherness. It requires support. It requires runners. It does. And so even for those of you that are praying and believing God for vision, one of the things you may need to work on is work on your attitude. You may need to work on your people skills. You have to learn how to connect, how to relate, how to resolve conflict, because you need runners for your vision. It is not to be done alone. It is not to be carried out alone, so that he who reads it will run with it. That's important. Point number 6 that I want to deal with concerning vision. This one, a simple word. Oh, but an excruciatingly painful word to deal with at times. What is this word you're talking about, prophet? I am talking about patience. Patience. The word says here in Habakkuk, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. There is a set time from God for every single thing in life. God has made an appointment for every single thing to happen brothers and sisters, viewers, listening audience, you will be completely mind blown if you were able to physically see a mock-up of God's plan book, of his appointment book, because there is an appointment on God's calendar for every single thing. God, from the beginning of time, made an appointment when the sun would rise and when it would set. It's snowing here in Pittsburgh today, and this was on God's appointment calendar. Nothing just happens. Can I help you right there? Nothing, absolutely nothing just happens. Every single thing has an appointed purpose and an appointed time. So he is saying here, the vision is for an appointed time. This is the part that we find that is often very frustrating because we want it now. You know that there is that commercial, an insurance commercial, a settlement commercial that says, I want my money and I want it now. I want it right now. Some of us, you can feverishly feel the desire for it to the point where you're mentally and physically salivating, waiting for it to happen. You want it now. You look at your age, you look at your life, you look at everything that's going on, and you said, guess what? I want it right now. Someone's watching. I want the husband. I want the wife. I want the house with the white picket fence. I want it right now. I want to be debt free right now. I want the business right now. I want the fame right now. I want the ministry to grow right now. I want all of these things. I want to be healed right now. We often activate and move ourselves at a pace of immediacy. I want it and I want it now. But the word is telling us clearly, it is for an appointed time. That's important. Here is why. There are some things, I'm going to say this, some of you may not believe it, but it's absolutely, positively, unequivocally true. There are some things, if God gave it to you right now, it would do you more harm than good. There are some things God desires to bless us with. God desires for us to have. He totally wants us to have it. He is going to give it to us. But he says, if I give it to you right now, it will do you more harm than good because you're not ready for it. Your appointment requires maturity. Your appointment requires understanding. It requires knowledge. It requires experience. It requires a level of stickability that you have not exhibited just yet. It is for an appointed time. One of the greatest things the Lord ever said to me, he said to me years ago, he said, Remington, if I gave you some things right now, there are people that are around you and that are connected to you would want to take credit for what it is I have done. I've got to give it to you in a time and a place and a space where no one, absolutely no one can take credit for what has happened in your life. When I do it, they will look and say it could have only been God. So we must wait. We must be patient for the appointed time of God. He said the vision is for an appointed time. Those that are writing, those that are taking notes as you write, understand this. Put somewhere in bold letters and highlight it. This vision has an appointment. Those of you that are watching and those that are commenting, do me one kind favor right now. Just flood the comments with this phrase. This vision has an appointment. This vision has an appointment. Have you ever gone to a business or to an establishment, and when you got there, you met the secretary at the door, she greets you with a smile, you say your name, you ask for whom you've come to see or whatever businesses you've come to do, and the first thing they will say to you is, do you have an appointment? Because this facility is ran by appointments. Appointments are very important because appointments mean that there is, I feel something sweet right there for somebody. I feel something sweet right there for somebody. What an appointment means is an appointment means is that before the time came, this time has already been blocked out for you and you alone. Oh, glory be to the living God. An appointment means that this time, that this space has been carved out just for you. It means that no matter who shows up, it can be the president, it can be the prime minister, it can be the Shah of Iran, it can be the Sheikh. It does not matter who shows up. This point and time, this period is blocked out. I feel the Holy Ghost. My God, somebody receive it. This time is blocked out for just you. Nobody else but you. This time is dedicated and delegated to you and you alone. I hear the Lord saying, understand, when I tell you your vision is for an appointed time, do not just think that I'm brushing you off or I'm putting you in delay or I'm keeping you in a loop. No, what I'm saying to you is I have a time set on my calendar that is isolated for you and nobody but you. Nobody but you. Nobody but you. Nobody but you. There is a period of time the Lord has blocked out just for you. There is a period of time God has blocked out just for your vision. This vision, this vision, this vision has an appointment. It cannot be overlooked. It cannot be knocked down. This vision has an appointment. Somebody need to receive this right here, right now. You are believing, you've been feeling as if God's not going to do it for you and your life is going to fail and things won't work out. But God said, no, your vision has an appointment. My brother, my sister, my friend, you man of God, you woman of God, listening, your vision has an appointment. Somebody throw up a yes, Lord, right there. This vision has an appointment. So we understand. He says, watch this. He said, so be patient. Be patient. There are things that God is doing. One of the scriptures and the stories that comes to mind in this moment is that when the children of Israel were about to inhabit the promised land, God said to them, he said, I am not going to give it to you all at once. There is a day. I have a day on my calendar when you will possess all of this land. You're going to have every bit of it, from the east to the west, the north to the south, from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea. There is a day I'm going to give it all to you, but I can't give it all to you right now, not today. Why not? God said, you are too small for a blessing that is so big. And right now, this blessing, this vision, this plan I have for you is so big, it will crush you. I've got to let you grow into it. You've got to grow into it. Somebody, you need to hear this. This is not to hurt your feelings, but this is to give you a word of truth. You simply need to mature enough to fully inhabit the promise of God, the vision of the Lord. You've got to grow into it. Your vision will always be bigger than you. The vision God has for you will always outmatch you. So you've got to grow into the vision. God is not going to shrink a vision to fit you, but God will grow you to fit a vision. I feel that in my spirit. God will not cut the vision smaller to fit your mentality, to fit your race, to fit your creed, to fit your expectations, but God will grow you to fit the vision. He says, the vision is for an appointed time. So be patient. Wait on it. Wait on it. Wait on it. Understand, when the word of the Lord speaks about waiting, it's not saying that you're sitting by idly twiddling your thumbs. Patience means that you are staying in the posture and you continue to do the last thing that God told you to do until the vision manifests itself in its fullness. God never tells anybody to do nothing. There is always something that God will have you doing while the vision is coming forth, while the cloud, the size of a man's hand, was about to manifest. Everyone thinks Elijah was sitting there doing nothing. No, he was doing something. His head was between his knees because he was doing what? He was maintaining the posture that God told him to be in until it came to pass. Yes. Understand this. Patience is indeed a virtue. What is a virtue? It means this. Patience is a behavioral expression of moral standards. Patience is indeed, yes, it is a behavioral expression of moral standards. Do not rush the process. When God gave Abraham a vision, the appointment that God gave to Abraham was 25 years away from the date he first met with him. Who am I helping tonight? The appointment that God had made for Abraham's vision was 25 years away. 13 years into it, got impatient. He didn't want to wait anymore. His wife tells him, go and be with Hagar. Here's what happens. We then end up producing an Ishmael when there is already an appointment for Isaac. Brothers and sisters, people of God, every viewer listening, be patient. Be patient in the process. Be patient in the process. Do not rush it. When the fullness of time comes, God will cause the vision to come to fruition. In the timing of God, the vision will manifest. In the timing of God, the vision will manifest. The seventh and final point I want to leave with you tonight is this. He says, though the vision tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Now, when I was a little boy and I heard this, I thought it was so contradictory, because it just said, although the vision tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. It does not contradict itself. What it is simply saying is, wait for it. It's going to take a while. Be patient. It will come. But this is the part that blesses me. When it does come, it's going to happen just like that. When it does come, it's going to be swift, it's going to be fast, it is going to be sudden. When it does come, when your appointment has arrived, you will not have to worry, you will not have to wait, you will not have to be stressed out. When your appointment arrives, you will not have to sit in the waiting room not 1 second longer. When your appointed time fully comes, the door will swing open and you will walk into the manifestation of all that God has planned for you. It will surely come to pass. Every viewer, everyone listening, everyone that is participating right now, I want you to make this declaration with me. It shall come to pass. Isaiah 60:22 says this, and when, in the NLT it says, and when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. When your appointment has come, I'm going to snap my fingers and it will manifest. It will be sudden. There will be no hold back. There will be no hindrance. There will be no roadblock. It will surely come to pass. I dare you. I challenge you. If you believe it, declare it right now. Come on, Kathy. It shall come to pass. Come on, Sherry Davis. You know I'm rooting for you. It shall come to pass. Evangelist Forbush, it shall come to pass. Sister Tawanda, you know it's going to happen for you. I believe God. Is there anybody else that can say it? Come on. It shall come to pass for you. Come on, Sister Laura. You're getting ready to walk through a great open door this weekend. Prophetess Mathis, it'll come to pass for you. Apostle. It shall come to pass. Sister Nicole down there, Dr. Galloway, it shall come to pass. Miss Bobby, you know it's going to happen for you in your house. Marley, it's going to take place for you and your family. Come on, Nicole, it's going to happen for you and Will and the girls. Listen, it shall come to pass. Sister Tolliver, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Faith, it's going to come to pass for you. And when the time is right, Apostle, look at my best friend. God's going to do it for you. Yes, Lord. Sister Mac, listen, oh my God, for you and your whole household. It will come to pass. And when the time is right, when your appointment, Darnella, when your appointment time has come, you will sit in the waiting room no longer. I prophesy over the people of God right now. There are some of us, we have been in the waiting room for such a long period of time. But I hear the Lord saying, you must stand on your watch. Be patient. Hold on. But when the time is right, when your appointment has fully come, somebody, you are days away, hours away, weeks away from your appointed time. Yes. Oh, yes. You are so close. Woo! Yes. You are so close. Don't walk out. Don't leave. Your name is on the books. There is a time that has been designated specifically for you. There is a time that is carved out. God chiseled out a specific period of time just for you before the foundation of the world. He's going to make it happen. Brothers and sisters, as I leave you tonight, I want to leave you with the understanding of the value of vision. Where there is no vision, the people will perish. If you do not want to die prematurely, ask of God, God, give me vision. Where there is vision, we will live. Where there is vision, we will live. It has been my pleasure to share with you tonight. I pray that this has been a blessing to you. We look forward to having you as our viewing audience yet again on another segment of Let's Talk live broadcast. Blessings and peace to you. Have a good evening.